welcome to the show. Glad everybody's here. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk to Brandon Marcello coming up, who is my favorite college football analyst, commentator. He's now going to be working the sidelines on camera. He's killing it. Let's hit the whistle. Thank you. Now, there is no Eddie for this part. We recorded a part earlier, but Eddie had to leave. We record this out of order sometimes, especially when we have an interview. Eddie got sick, so you'll hear Eddie later. But then after we recorded this, Eddie got sick and went home. I will start, and I'm sad Eddie's not here, but Rampage Jackson's son, Mike, did you watch this?
Yeah.
So let me give everybody the what happened. So Rampage Jackson is a UFC fighter, way famous 10 years ago. Still famous, but like way fighter famous 10 years ago. His son is now 22, 23, around that age. And his son is a streamer. I think his name's like Raja, right? Raja, R-A-J-H.
Yeah.
Raja Jackson. So he went to like a local wrestling promotion, and he's out there talking to the wrestlers beforehand. One of the guys who's obviously a wrestler, and there are cameras everywhere, thinks that he's one of the he looks like one of the wrestlers. He's a big dude. And he takes a can, the can is empty, and does a wrestler move on him and hits him in the head with the can, except there was nothing in the can, and he did the thing where he like covered it and took the most of the blow within his hand to look like it. Am I making sense there?
Yeah.
It was a fake can hit. Well, so Raja Jackson is like, all right, let's fight then. Like really wants to fight the dude. So they're trying to split him up. Then you see the clip of them talking about it, and the wrestler, we'll call him the wrestler and Raja. The wrestler's like, my bad, dude. All these cameras were around. I thought this was like part of the show. Sorry about that. And they shake hands. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And they're like, all good, all good. So it went from being a misunderstanding, and the misunderstanding, I could have understood Raja Jackson getting upset. Although he's a big streamer, so he's got cameras all around. I get why both had a misunderstanding, but I got it. He didn't know he was going to get hit in the head with a can, but he also didn't really get hit in the head with a can. It was a fake, empty can. They were doing a work. Then there was a big apology. Sorry. All good. Hugged it out. Then in the ring, they had it set up where Raja was going to come in and attack the wrestler. The wrestler, I didn't know him. His name is Psycho Stu. I think it was like just a regional thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of fat guy. And like not like John Cena.
Normal big dude.
Yeah. But Raja Jackson runs in the ring, jumps on him, and just starts to he picks him up first of all and slams him like a UFC fighter hard and starts to punch him in the face over and over again.
Just
with
pummeling
all of his might. And so even the people in the ring don't know it's fake at first. Somebody runs in and is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And then finally they realized it and they peeled him off. But the dude, apparently the wrestler was unresponsive.
I mean, he wasn't moving in the ring. He was just laying there.
He got punched so many times, as hard as this kid could punch him, in the face. So then you see the footage of him, like, people calling him, like, you can't do that. And he's like, no, you can't. It looked to me like Raja Jackson, people were talking crap to him in his chat, and he had to go prove to his streamers that he's about that. I think his chat talked him into being rage-filled because they apologized. They had the whole hug it out moment. I haven't even gone to the story because I know you handed me an official story on it.
Yeah, and then you just hear everybody in the crowd like realize that it's not a bit, and everybody just starts screaming.
Yep.
And then it takes like 5 to 6 people to pin him down.
You watched the punching?
Yeah.
It was hard to look at.
I mean, you're hitting like a lifeless body.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. He was punching a lifeless body. It started outside the building before the event. I'm going to read the news story now because I just gave you my interpretation of it all. Raja got into a confrontation with Psycho Stu. Stu hit him in the head with an aluminum can. Stu thought Raja was a wrestler, and since there was a camera on him, he figured they should put on a show. But Raja didn't take it that way. He was pissed. The other wrestlers explained to Raja that Stu was just doing wrestling stuff and not really trying to start anything. They shook hands. They decided to turn it into a work by having Raja attack him in the ring later. Things got interesting. One of the wrestlers took Raja aside and said, hey, Stu was an idiot for hitting you with a can. He told Raja he should give Stu a receipt, which is a code. And this happens in wrestling where you actually hit somebody once to go, hey, don't do things that are kind of against the integrity of wrestling. You hear a lot of the 80s and 90s guys talk about giving receipts. And you see him on his phone reading the chat. And he's like, no, I'm going to go in and beat the crap out of him. I'm going to, the chat was firing him up. And then Someone also filmed him on the streets after the attack, and he said he was tired of people playing with him.
Yeah, he was just running down the street screaming.
Oh, golly. LAPD's investigating. If he doesn't get charged, he was beating a lifeless body. And Psycho Stu, it's crazy to call somebody that. Just Psycho Stu thought it was going to happen, but he thought it was going to happen in a different way, so he made himself vulnerable to be picked up and slammed. He had no way to defend himself because he was allowing that to happen to him, to which he thought it was fake. He slams him so hard his head hits, and then it's just punch, punch. Oh, my God, it's awful. It is awful. Speaking of wrestling, John Cena's retirement date is happening. It's going to be on Saturday night's main event in December. His final match, December 13th. Is this going to be like Cowboy Rides Away or no?
Like he's not going to go away?
Well, it's not that he doesn't go away. He goes away, but every once in a while he comes back.
I mean, it's wrestling. The Rock still comes back from time to time. So I think it's him retiring from being in the ring as far as like in a match, but I think he'll come back.
The other fight, and we talk about this with Brandon Marcello, was the fight after the Kansas State football game. And you see Avery Johnson's dad fighting somebody. Avery Johnson's a Kansas State quarterback. Kansas State got beat. It was a close game. Two good teams in Ireland. I watched the whole game. It was Kansas State and Iowa State. I was rooting for Kansas State because I bet Kansas State. And you see, they're like, Avery Johnson's dad's in a fight. Turns out he was beating up his son, the other brother.
Is everybody okay?
Exactly. They've released a joint statement since then, but it is crazy because you just go, somebody must have talked crap to Avery Johnson's dad, and he's like, I've had a couple beers, let's go. But it turns out it was the dad and the son, Avery Johnson's brother. Crazy. So yeah, that's what's up. Football is interesting. I lost like $700 in the first game because I bet Kansas State -3, and then I bet them +2.5 once they went down. They ended up losing by 3, so I lost both of those bets. Then I was like, all right, screw this. I'm going all in on Kansas because I know Coach Leipold a little bit. And so I bet Kansas heavy, and they ran. It was awesome. Kurt Warner's son is the Fresno State quarterback, though. Lost the game. They were supposed to lose. I think the spread was like 13. I bet Kansas -13. They easily covered. But I made all my money back plus. But I was about to go heavy in the hole week 1. Heavy in the hole.
It begins already.
Yes, heavy in the hole. Do we want to go to Brandon now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go over my chat with, I call him the best in the business. When it comes to reporting and talking college football, Brandon Marcello. Brandon's one of the guys who never says, hey, what are you going to talk about so I can be ready? He's just like, let's go. Brandon will be joining us a bunch. You can follow Brandon at Brandon Marcello on Instagram, at bmarcello on Twitter, and then read his articles at cbssports.com. Here he is, Brandon Marcello. All right, football is back. And if you haven't heard by now, I'm a massive fan of the NFL, but I never had a team growing up because Arkansas didn't have a team. So I've been searching for a team the last few months, and I've narrowed it down to 2 teams to be a fan of because I don't really want to be a bandwagon jumper either. And those 2 teams are Denver and Carolina. It's been a while since Denver's been a real contender, but they have won Super Bowls. The future looks like it could be very bright, especially with the coach and quarterback situation. Meanwhile, Carolina, they've never won a Super Bowl ever. They've been there. Their future looks like it could be headed in the right direction. So do I root for a team with more of a winning tradition, although it's been a while, or do I root for a team who's had like 2, very small stints of winning and is still growing the fan base and the tradition? Now, I haven't announced what team it is yet, but it's just another reason that I'm excited for the 2025 NFL season to kick off. I'm also excited to say that I've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook for another football season. And right now on DraftKings, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 instantly in bonus bets. Yeah, $300 when you bet just $5. Sign up using the code WHISTLES. That's the code. WHISTLES. Type it in there. I bet you can spell it. And bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets instantly. But you got to put in the code WHISTLES. It'll help us. I think it could be good for you, good for DraftKings. Put in the code WHISTLES. 5 get you $300, and can't wait for the season to start. All right, on with Brandon Marcello. Which before we get to a bit of week 0 and week 1, what's the new job you have here, Brandon? Are you on the sideline? You going to be doing some reporting or what?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything this year. I'm going to be on the sideline doing some reporting for CBS Sports Network during this season. I've got 1 game on the books so far, and in addition to my other duties for CBSSports.com, writing, and then also on TV for CBS Sports HQ and our new podcast that we launched called College Football Insiders. So very, very busy times, but exciting because it's football season.
Yeah, I saw your jacket. That's going to be pretty cool. You got the old CBS jacket, the logo. I mean, that's official.
I was not expecting that. I totally flipped my mind oh, yeah, we still do that. And they asked for my address. And when I got it, my heart was just racing. I mean, it's an absolute dream. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just, it's insane. It's incredible.
That's awesome, man. I was so happy for you when I saw that because that's like a thing. Like when they send you the actual jacket with their own money. They're paying for that. And anytime anybody pays for anything, it means they're investing in you. They've promoted you into this position. They think you're good. Like I felt not proud of you, but proud for you because I think you're the best.
Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it, man. And listen, I've been doing this for a while, and you just got to keep working hard. At some point, you'll start getting opportunities. So I really appreciate it, Bobby. Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit at week 0. I saw the article you wrote about Avery Johnson at Kansas State. Did you happen to know that his dad and brother were also beefing with each other?
I had no idea until I saw the video and then the statement they released after the game. Tempers flare among families, I guess, especially competitive families. And I was shocked. I mean, it was a legit street fight, like in the water, in the rain street. Hey, that's the day and age we live in. You better be aware that everybody's got a camera, obviously. And if you're going to do something publicly, it's going to be caught on film. And it did not. I mean, it was out within like an hour. Like after the game that it was out there already. You just got to, keep yourself. I mean, save that for the hotel room. Go back to the hotel room and do your fight if you have to.
I saw the clip at first and it said Avery Johnson's dad gets into fight. And it looked like he was pounding somebody over a mud puddle or like a concrete puddle, right? It was one of those. And then later it came out that was Avery Johnson's brother. So also his son, right? So all of that, do we have any idea why they fought?
No clue. No idea. I mean, obviously it was a dramatic game and a heartbreaking loss the way they lost it because Kansas State, went for it on 4th down late, didn't get it. Iowa State got the ball back and was able to go score to win the game. I'm sure there's always sibling rivalries too, I would love to have been a fly in the stands to hear what they were saying while everything was happening there at the end of the game.
I thought there were a couple pretty fun week 0 games. I thought that was a pretty good game because I watched 2 full games. I watched the Iowa State Kansas State game, which I'll say I don't mind the games overseas. I feel like they could be annoying for the players. And why are colleges going over? I get NFL going over. You're trying to stretch the brand, but college is a little weird. But in Ireland, where it rains a lot, it's not even a dome. Everything just felt off about that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do either. And in fact, there's a lot of coaches out there that have told me we will never go overseas. If they tell me it's up to me, I will say no, absolutely not. And you saw it on display Saturday. I mean, the yard markers were barely even visible on the field. They even repainted them at halftime and they're still not visible. The field was just an absolute mess. And plus just the travel for it. Kansas State didn't actually leave till a little bit later for game week than you usually do. A lot of NFL teams have started doing that a little bit because they just want to get there, get 1 day rest, and then get in and get out. And I don't know what the best way to do that is, but to go 6 time zones away to go play 1 game, especially a season opener, I don't know. Unless there's a lot of money into that in the future, I think we're going to see less games like that. And Bobby, I mean, you've seen this. There's been less and less neutral site games early in the year. We're going to have a few this year. But we're moving further and further away from that too. And the reason why is because these athletic directors want to bring games on campus so they can sell tickets, sell concessions, and then also get some better revenue from that. Because as we've seen nowadays with revenue sharing, you with the players, you've got to get every ounce you can out of those fans with their tickets.
I'll go one more game from this past weekend, and I watched the Kansas-Fresno State game. It feels like both Kansas programs, and I know Kansas State lost, but definitely – that program is in an upward trajectory. Same with Kansas. They have a new stadium. They looked fast. The quarterback that we saw play Arkansas real close a couple years ago, he looked awesome. He was healthy. He's his 6th year playing. So, Kansas really looked fast yesterday. Any thoughts on Kansas?
Yeah, they're going to be really good this year. They're going to be right in the thick of things, especially if Jalen Daniels, the quarterback, as you mentioned, can stay healthy. Because his issue, the reason why he's playing at 6 years, because he's had injuries over and over and over again. They've mostly had to deal with his back. And if you have a back injury, even back spasms, I mean, that is so difficult to get rid of and even be able to play 100%, even when you are able to go out on the field. That's going to be the key for them. Can Jalen Daniels stay healthy? And at your point about Kansas and Kansas State, but both being good at the same time, that's kind of been the case off and on for the better part of the last 4 years. A little bit down year, obviously, with Kansas last year because of the injury to Jalen Daniels. But both programs led by former FCS head coaches who won championships on the FCS level. And again, it just shows you that if you're a championship type coach, that translates to no matter what level, really. And Kansas and Kansas State did a smart thing and just said, hey, these guys win titles. They know how to build rosters. Bring them over here and let's do that here. And the more remarkable job of rebuilding has been done by Lance Leipold at Kansas, because that place was absolutely in the dumps in the Big 12. Then all of a sudden, a few years back, they beat Texas on the road in a high-scoring, really exciting game. And now they're on the rise, and they've got a $350 million stadium to boot. They've got things really rolling there in Lawrence.
I think Coach Leipold's, I wouldn't say a friend, but almost friend, where we text. I like Coach Leipold a lot. And so I texted him yesterday. I waited till way after the game. And I said, this is typical coach speak back, but I said, hey, you guys look really fast. Because that's what they did. They looked really fast. I said, solid week 1. Stadium looks great. Hope you're good. And he sent the text back. Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate the text. Proud of the team, but plenty to clean up. So, Classic coach speak. The stadium turned out great. Come up here for a game. I really like him, and I like that he's been able to go, because he turned Buffalo around too.
Right.
And those are terrible blue colors. And it's harder to turn around a blue team than any other team. I have a theory. And so, I'm rooting for both those Kansas teams. It's the Fresno State coach, also a coach that came from the same pedigree and then went to USC for a year and now is coaching Fresno State. And I think you're seeing those guys that come from building those winning programs. If you'll give them some time, they also can build at the Division I level as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. I mean, he came from like the NAIA level and then moved his way up, Division III level actually, moved his way up and then landed at Washington and took them to the national championship game. And then obviously now coaching Alabama, which some would argue is the top job in America. But he's never really been in a job where he's facing immense pressure. And last year was their first non-10 win season since 2007. So like now all the pressure's like, well, you better win 10, 11, 12 games, get in the playoff this year, or you're the worst coach ever. But, the guy just simply wins. He wins like 90% of his games, which is almost unheard of these days.
Texas and Ohio State, we're starting off. I mean, you couldn't bang bigger to start off the season. Which team is more loaded with stars?
That's a great question. I think Ohio State by the end of the year will be. When you think Ohio State, all you think of is Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs there on the back end at safety. But they've got other players on that roster that aren't quite proven yet that I think are going to end up being superstars, like maybe a James Peoples at running back. The thing with Ohio State, though, like a lot of teams these days, but the thing with Ohio State is they lose practically everybody on defense, and they lose a lot of guys on offense as well, including the quarterback, Will Howard. But you got Jeremiah Smith. So everybody just kind of says, well, Ohio State's a top 3, top 4 team this year. I think early in the year here, Ohio State might struggle a little bit because they're going to be trying to find their identity with all these new pieces, even though they're very talented and they've been backups most of their careers there. Whereas with Texas, I think you'll notice more names. You like, of course, Arch Manning. We know him. But with Texas, the thing for them is that they're really talented along the defensive front, and they've got some really great players there. It's just that no one considers a lineman a household name. So guys like Colin Simmons and those type of guys, they're phenomenal. Some of the best players you'll see on a football field in week 1, but no one goes out and puts posters on their walls of defensive linemen. But Ohio State's going to have the bigger names, I think, by the end of the year. But Texas might right now just simply have the most proven superstar types that are maybe not flashy at the skill positions other than Arch Manning.
You're a well-connected guy. Do you think they actually just figured out who their starting quarterback is at Ohio State, or they've known and just didn't want to say it?
They've had an inkling since the spring. But the thing with coaches is they legitimately pretty much try to do a blank slate when they go into preseason camp. and they try to make sure that it's an even competition to give them every opportunity to prove themselves, or for that matter, kind of crumble under the pressure. And there was a moment there in preseason camp where Lincoln Kienholz was able to show something, but it was very clear from the teammates and some of the assistant coaches there that Julian Sain was the more talented guy, higher upside, ready to take over. Lincoln was more that veteran type, someone you knew probably wouldn't make a mistake, but it's not going to be as flashy with his arm. And, they just needed to push Julian through these few weeks of preseason camp and see that he can handle all the pressure and everything. And he proved himself.
Let's talk about Clemson for a second, because I wonder if the pendulum is swinging back in a positive way with Dabo, because he doesn't want to go and take kids out of the portal. He doesn't want to do all these new age, we'll call them new age, but everybody's doing them now. But then you see last year he had basically the least amount of kids leave. So the culture that he's been building at times, which was zagging while everybody else zigged, it's either going to pay off big time this season, right? Or he's going to have to change. I don't know how he manages and builds a team. Would you say that's accurate?
Possibly. I will say, I think he's evolving a little bit. Like this past year was the first time he took multiple kids out of the transfer portal. But you're right, absolutely correct in saying that he has not been a guy who's leaned onto the portal. In fact, the only portal guys they ever end up getting the last few years were former walk-ons. Guys that even had played at Clemson previously he was bringing back. But the difference with Clemson is that he's brought in 4- and 5-star kids, and they've stayed. They're not leaving. They're not transferring out, where that's happening everywhere else in America. And as you mentioned, that's straight up culture. And in this era where, most rosters are turning over at least 30, 35 guys at the very least. It's not happening at Clemson. So I think a lot of us assume, based off of the way they finished last year and everybody returning back, that they've got an edge on everybody else on the schedule, and for that matter, everybody else in college football, because they all know each other. They've been in the same system for several years. You don't get that in college football anymore, and they should be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country this season. And the reason why a lot of people pick them to win the national championship.
You had Penn State at 2. How much of that is Drew Aller?
I think a lot of that is not necessarily him. I think a lot of it is just everybody else that returns around him. And I think the upgrades they've made at receiver through the transfer portal. They got a guy like Trevor Pena from Syracuse, who's like a 1,100, 1,200-yard guy. Remember, Penn State, the one thing that's probably been holding them back is just the passing game. They can't throw the ball down the field consistently. And Drew Aller has not been very consistent, especially on intermediate and short throws, which is amazing. He'll hit deep throws, but like the intermediate stuff, the stuff you need, those little chunk plays to keep the ball moving, he has struggled a little bit. But I think the reason why Penn State is ranked as high as they are, and I put them number 2 in my rankings too, is just that it's because they returned so much like Ohio State last year, where they went all in and went to the transfer portal, got the top players they could, and then kept everybody that could have went to the NFL on campus. Guys like Nick Dawkins at center, who's incredibly underrated. They are stacked at Penn State this year, and not just on the field, but also on the sideline. They went and hired Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, fresh off winning a national championship at Ohio State, made him the highest paid coordinator in the country. So Penn State is, if they don't have to tell you, they're showing you. They're all in on this year. They're pushing in the middle of the table that this is the year they've got to win the championship.
We saw the SEC say we're going to play 9 conference games, plus you have to play a game against a Power 4 school, and which is some teams are going to have to do some restructuring now, because looking at 26, 27, maybe there aren't enough P4 games outside of the conference, especially when you have to substitute another conference game. So the SEC, they're in. I'm a homer, but shouldn't there be 4 guaranteed spots to the SEC now that we're going 9 plus 1 P4 game?
That's what the Big Ten's arguing, but I think because of the SEC now deciding to do this 9-game schedule, it's actually going to put more pressure on the Big Ten to get on board with the other conferences by not doing the 4 AQs and the CFP, doing a 16-team format, but doing so with the 5 highest-ranked conference champions and 11 at-larges. What's been so fascinating about this whole playoff debate is that the Big Ten and SEC athletic directors were on the same page with the 4AQ idea for months because they were meeting together. Remember, they had 2 big, kind of hush-hush secretive meetings in Nashville and then also in New Orleans, and they were all on the same page. But then the moment they got away from each other, the SEC coaches were like, we like the more at-larges because we believe if there's more at-large spots, the SEC can get 6, 7, maybe even 8 teams into the playoff. Whereas with the Big Ten, it's a very strong conference. At the top, it might be better than anybody else, but they don't have the 1 through 16 or 1 through 18 depth that the SEC has. So if you go back and look at the averages and everything, and I've tried to crunch the math on this, the SEC is practically going to be ahead of them every step of the way if it's a 5+11, which means more money for the SEC and less money for the Big Ten. And the Big Ten, a lot of ways, they want to do this 4AQ thing because, one, of course, you get 4 teams in every year, even if you probably don't have a 4th team that deserves to be in. So that's money. But also it allows them to create playoff play-in games on their conference championship weekend, which is an additional 2 games in addition to the conference championship game that they can sell to their TV partners, in addition to giving hope to other Big Ten teams that are ranked lower, say as low as number 8, that, hey, all we got to do now is win 1 game and we get a playoff spot. That's exciting. That's exciting for fans. It certainly is. But in the end, the more important thing is that they get the money. And the SEC is kind of fine with how way everything is right now. And the other conferences don't want to see the Big Ten and SEC have committed spots, because I do this comparison whenever I hear this. You know, it would be like 10 years ago, the ACC, right after they broke the record for most teams in the NCAA men's basketball tournament, saying, hey, with the new contract with the men's tournament, we want 8 automatic bids every year. The SEC, you get 3, because based off this rolling average the last 5 years, the SEC has been by far the worst conference in basketball. Well, fast forward 10 years later, if we were under that format, guess what? The SEC just broke the record for most teams ever in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. No one thought that was possible 10 years ago. So if they decided to do a contract much like the college football playoff this year, can you imagine the outroar we'd be having right now? Football and basketball are different. I understand that. But if you were to do this AQ scenario, you're going to have conferences go absolutely down the tubes at times, year 3, year 7, something like that. And you're going to go, this league deserves maybe 1 or 2 teams in. They definitely don't deserve 4. And their number 8 team definitely doesn't deserve a chance by just winning 1 game in a play-in game to get in. So I very much understand that argument that we're hearing across college football right now.
Do you think that conference championship games are short-lived now because they need that spot, that weekend?
It depends on who you talk to. The SEC doesn't want the championship game to go away, the SEC championship game. I think the other conferences would maybe be okay with it going away and just going by the regular season standings and say, you know, Clemson finished number 1 in the ACC, so you're your champion. And then the number 1 and number 2 teams in the standings sit at home, and then you do 2 play-in games. I don't really know what the answer is going to be there. But personally, I don't want to see conference championship games go away. I just don't. I think they're exciting. You don't quite ever know what's going to happen. It has changed the playoff field. In fact, on championship weekend, I can remember Michigan State pulling an upset in the Big Ten championship to pave the way for Auburn and the SEC to get in. And back in 2014, we just can't. I don't think you can get rid of those championship games.
One other question that you're not going to have the answer to, because nobody does, but I've seen you tweet about it and I've had thoughts as well, is the SEC says, hey, we're going to have 9 games in conference, but every team's going to play 3 specific same teams every year. And they said they laid out what they were basing it on, like geography, I think was a bit, rivalries, and then also they wanted it to be fair, like balance. And who knows what balance means? The same thing you just talked about with putting teams into a tournament. That's what balance is, because you don't know who's going to be great in 5 years and who's not. But when do we know? And then, I don't know, I'm just so selfish in thinking about Arkansas that we're going to get every absolute worst team we could possibly get. Somehow we're going to play teams, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, not even in the SEC. Like, when are we going to know? And then what do you I don't know. Who do you think Arkansas plays?
I think that by November, I'm just guesstimating based off things I've heard, probably even mid-season, they're going to have a good idea of what the 3 permanent rivals are going to be. I don't know if the SEC will just go ahead and announce that, but it will be based off some formula, rolling winning average, whether it's for the past 5 years or past 10 years. Previously, when they're discussing going to 9 games a few years back, it was going to be a 10-year rolling average. Who should Arkansas play? I mean, obviously Texas, you got to put on there. You got to probably keep one of the quote unquote trophy games, which is Missouri and LSU. I would be inclined to believe that it'll end up being Mizzou, because LSU is going to want to have a more of a permanent rivalry game against obviously Ole Miss with the Magnolia Bowl, and then also Texas A&M, which has been a big ratings grab for the SEC here of late. And who that third opponent would be for Arkansas depends on who you kind of really talk to, but it probably might end up being Ole Miss. We'll see. But what they try to do is, if you have a big rivalry game and they're a top tier team, they try to give you a team in the middle and then team near the bottom. They try to make it all average out to where your average schedule strength, judged by the 16-team ranking, is about number 8, right? Some programs are not going to be able to have that satisfaction, because like Texas, I mean, their 3 rivals are Arkansas, Texas, and Texas A&M, and Texas, OU, excuse me. OU and A&M is always probably going to be in the top half of the conference. So that makes it difficult for them. Alabama, for that matter. Heck, Georgia's permanent rivals, being Florida and Auburn. I've had some Auburn fans going, we want our 3 permanent rivals to be what it used to be back in the early 90s, which was Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. But goodness gracious, that's supremely difficult just based off of what you're accustomed to seeing with them. But the good news is, I don't think the 3 permanent rivalry thing is a big deal, because you're going to have 6 other teams on the schedule every year, and you're going to play every team in the conference based off of that. Like every 2-4 years, in a 4-year rolling average, you're going to play every team in the SEC. So you're just going to have some seasons that are going to be more difficult than others, and you're going to have some that are easier. And it's not necessarily because of those 3 permanent rivals. It can depend on how those teams rotate on the 6 and 6.
I have a worst case scenario that Tennessee gets Kentucky and Vanderbilt both, which they probably should. That sucks. They shouldn't get those 2 teams. Nobody should get those 2 teams together.
I don't think they'll get Kentucky. I think they'll get Vandy, just because of the quote unquote in-state stuff. But I don't think they'll get Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to get matched up a lot, potentially with the 3, just based off also on previous scheduling things. South Carolina, Mississippi State, for example, because Kentucky does not have a rival in the SEC. Their only rival, of course, is in the ACC in Louisville. I don't think there's going to be a schedule where you look at and go, oh my gosh, their 3 rivals are so easy. I think it's going to be the opposite. You're going to look at 2 or 3 teams, go, wow, those are supremely difficult, whereas everybody else is going to be pretty comparable.
All right, final question. My assumption is, and you may not have, but my assumption is you watched Any Given Saturday or on Netflix, the SEC show?
No.
Oh, you didn't? So here's what I thought. I thought either you're like me, where I avoid all music when I'm not working in music. Like, I avoid all music. And I didn't watch it at all for weeks because I didn't want to like teams I don't like. Like, mine was all, I don't want to watch a coach or a team or a fan base that I can't stand and find myself pulling for them. And I decided I wasn't going to watch it. Didn't want to be involved in it. My father-in-law, massive OU fan, was over. And we went on a vacation to like East Tennessee, and we're like, well, what do we do? And we turned it on. It was great. I didn't plan to watch it. Okay. Yeah, I loved it. I didn't want to love it. I wanted to not like it and not watch it after the first episode. I came away, this is not your opinion, I came away liking Brian Kelly way less than I already liked him, and I didn't like him much to begin with. Have you spent any time around him, and is he just cold?
Yeah, he's cold. He is a cold guy. It is what it is. Everybody's different, but he's definitely a cold guy. I haven't watched the documentary, but he tries to turn it on, and even then it's like trying to start an old car in the winter cold in the morning. It's just, you're like, dude, I don't, that's not you. But that's good to hear. It's good. I'm so busy. Act like, I'm so busy I can't watch it. I'm actually watching the Dallas Cowboys one right now on Netflix. I'm really enjoying that. And I didn't want to do the SEC one because I thought wasn't it produced by the SEC. So like whenever I see someone that like they have a big stake in it and they're like, they can edit things in and out or whatever. So I'm always hesitant to look into that stuff, especially like, because all these schools have these amazing like in-house video productions now. They do their own documentaries, and I don't watch them all because they're going to cut stuff out that might be controversial. But I guess the SEC one, they leave some stuff in.
They do. I'm going to tell you who I would like to play for. By the way, I wish I could just play. Like, I wish I was good enough to play. But by watching this, who I want to play for, number one, is freaking Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. Like, if you put a wall up and he goes, go, I'm running through it. And I already felt like I really liked him anyway because I got a chance to know him. When I was touring, he came out and did a show with me. Like, I like him as a person, but watching him and his interactions and how he works with that team, his vein pops out in his head. Like, that dude is intense.
Yeah, I remember I was at a coaches convention. He was giving a big speech in front of all the coaches, and he had a slideshow up, and he was showing pictures of a certain NFL team that used their facilities at Vanderbilt during the playoffs to practice. And they pretty much wrecked Vanderbilt's locker room. Didn't clean up after themselves or whatever. And he showed the pictures of it, and the way Clark Lee reacted to it and telling the players about how he goes, see this? They don't even respect you. No one respects you. No one respects Vanderbilt. You know, what are you going to do about it? And obviously I'm surmising and putting everything together there, but the way he put it across, showing that picture, is phenomenal. I mean, this guy's the ultimate, I wouldn't say motivator, but he's also the ultimate like tactician and building things. He's the type of guy, like if I had a new company and he's going to be handling millions of dollars and everything, he's someone that I would not be reluctant to hire to lead that.
Yeah, he was awesome. I think my favorite coach, just like as a person, is probably Shane Beamer, because he's again, have been able to spend some time with him, been very fortunate. I love him as a dude, and then watch him. Your thoughts on Shane Beamer?
Yeah, he's authentic. I'm exactly the same way. I've spent a couple of days around him. I went down in over there in Columbia, and I spent an entire day with him, followed him everywhere. I was standing outside the bathroom even while I was following him, waiting for him to come out. I mean, he's fantastic. And then, you know, the stories you hear from him about growing up around his dad and wanting to be a coach because of his father, and then you see him on the field during games. He's got his son with him just so he makes sure his son can enjoy the big moments with him, just like he did with his dad. I mean, it's all genuine. He's not like trying to get on camera or anything. The guy, when the camera's off, he'll sit there and talk to you forever. It doesn't matter who you are. I saw him doing it at a practice once, talking to someone that was just there visiting with some family member, asking about on what they do. I mean, there's a lot of people like that in this world, but not a lot of them that are, you know, head coaches or people that have 50,000 people tugging them different ways every day.
Yeah, and then the last one that I have interest in now, and then we can wrap this, is Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State, which I didn't know much about him other than my family's from Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma, came back to Oklahoma, and was a coordinator before. Also has bounced around a bit in his growth, but went to Mississippi State. Like, I like the dude from watching this, but I don't know enough about him. What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know anything about him either.
Yeah,
I don't. I haven't spent any time around him. He was at OU for not very long, actually. He's more or less, I mean, he's from that Art Briles tree with Kendall Briles as where at Baylor. I think the first time I ever heard his name come up was actually with some type of actually some sideline scandal. He was at someone else's game on the sideline, and they're like, "You can't be here. Are you scouting? You can't be doing this against the rules." It was almost like a mini Michigan thing or whatever, and he got a little hot water over that. You know, that Briles circle, especially just with coaching, like their offense and the way they do things, like no one, like there's like maybe 8 people on earth who actually know what that playbook looks like because they keep such a tight circle. Like you don't see them at coaching clinics going, "Here's my playbook, guys. Here's the good things we run. Here's some ideas." They don't do that. They're very secretive about that stuff. And I don't know. Maybe that's why I haven't really got to know him, but he's only been there for a year and a half. So we'll see.
All right, Brandon Marcello. Follow him on Instagram at Brandon Marcello. Killing it right now. Just feel fortunate we could get you on now that you're growing. Now that you're a superstar, it's like, can we get Brandon to come on the show? So we knew you win. We knew you win, Brandon.
Well, I appreciate it, Bobby. I'm not a superstar. I just love what I do, man.
Yeah, you're great at it. There he is, Brandon Marcello. Brandon, talk to you next week.
All right, see you, Bobby.
See you, Brandon. Good to see you, buddy.
I have this list of the top 10 hardest positions in sports.
Okay.
So they factor in all sports, major sports, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, golf. I guess golf doesn't have positions.
No, you're just a player.
Yeah. So what I have here is the top 10 hardest positions in sports. Kevin and Eddie will take turns. And the higher up the list, the more points you get.
Okay.
Kevin.
Quarterback.
Quarterback comes in. So here's what we'll do. The person with the least amount of points wins. It'll be like golf.
Because number one gets the lowest amount of points, right?
Yeah,
Got it.
Okay. What do you say?
Quarterback.
Quarterback comes in at number 6.
Dang.
Whoa.
So Kevin with 6 points.
Okay.
Eddie?
I'm going to go goalie.
Goalie, in
Soccer.
at number 3.
Ooh, good one, dude.
Eddie with 3 points. Okay, Kevin?
Cornerback.
Tough position.
Yes, it is.
It is tough.
It's so hard. It's the hardest in football.
I know, because you're having to judge and guess
Yeah.
what another supreme athlete's doing in front of you.
And you're kind of running backwards. He's got the advantage. It's terrible.
Especially these days and the rules and stuff.
And also, when people are like, "Oh, you play cornerback," and somebody else hears it and thinks you're a quarterback, and to be like, "No, corner."
Yeah, that's
Emphasis
true.
on the end.
It's also like
No.
a slight, yeah. Cornerback at number 5.
Ooh,
Good one.
dang,
Good one,
dude.
Kevin.
It's a tough list.
So we have goalkeeper, soccer, quarterback, and cornerback 5 and 6. Eddie,
I'm going to go with the pitcher in baseball.
pitcher makes the list. Pitcher comes in at number 8.
Oh, wow.
So it's even right now, 11 to 11.
Let's go. Okay, now I'm gonna say goalie in hockey.
Number 2,
Woo!
Wow. Good job, Kev.
big one. 5 still up on the board. Eddie,
I'm going to go with the big man position in basketball, the center. That's a lot to cover. That paint, man. It's tough.
Bobby's look right now.
Paint, dude. You know, you look left, you look right. Like, oh, no, got to get the rebound.
didn't make the list. Didn't make the list. So that's 1 strike. 3 X's though, you lose.
Okay.
Kevin, over to you.
I'm gonna go catcher, baseball catcher.
Good one.
Number 1.
Boom,
Nice.
baby.
What's so hard about catcher, dude? Just freaking-
Bad on the knees, man.
a little
Well, you got to
best
call
ball.
the game. You got to always be.
They got
set
they got
down.
headphones. They got little ear things now.
They got little ear things.
Kevin, I don't know that you can be beat
Yep.
at this point. Maybe Eddie, what do you have? So we have catcher at 1, the hardest positions in sports. The hockey goalie at 2, the goalkeeper in soccer at 3, cornerback at 5, quarterback at 6, pitcher at 8.
First baseman.
That's the easiest position in the
Yeah, it
infield.
is.
Oh, dude, that's
It
always
is.
coming at you.
That's why they
and
put
you're
the best
like,
hitter
mhm.
who can't really play infield.
Yep.
Pete
Incorrect.
Alonso.
2 strikes. Kevin,
I'm gonna go point guard.
number 9, point guard.
There we go.
It's the easiest.
Eddie, 1 more X and you're out.
Oh, I got it.
Go ahead.
When I said center, I meant the center in football. God, it's brutal, dude. You start looking down, and then you got to look up real
That is
quick.
a good one, actually, though.
Incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Eddie, you've been eliminated. There are 1, 2, 3 things left. Kevin, you've already won the game, but let's see how many you can get of the 3 left. You haven't missed anything. So catcher, goalie, corner, or quarterback, pitcher, point guard.
I don't really know any.
Somebody said pitcher, right?
Yeah.
I said pitcher, yeah.
Oh, easy, buddy. I hear you.
That would've
That's
been
one of
me.
the 2
That
you
would've
got.
been me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a shot here in soccer and just say midfielder.
What's so hard about that?
I don't even know. I just know its position.
They do run nonstop. Nonstop.
No, didn't make it.
Okay.
You still have 2 strikes to play with.
Center fielder.
No.
I think I know it. If you're out.
If he's not out, he's got 1 more.
Yeah.
So
Stand down, Brandon.
the hardest one is 4. There's 4, 7, and 10 left.
Let's keep baseball here. Let's say third baseman.
No.
Just going to go around the diamond.
Yeah.
No, it didn't make You did win, though. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You,
I think I lost all my
Far superior.
motivation.
Far
I know it
superior.
doesn't
After
feel
I
like a
won.
win, but you
yeah,
won.
far
Yeah.
superior. It felt like a win. You only got 2.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't really much of a match.
Brandon, what'd you think?
I was gonna say third baseman.
Oh, no, shortstop.
Okay,
harder.
shortstop. Shortstop or third baseman. Yeah.
No, you can't do or.
Or
You can't, no.
yeah,
Same
you can't
area.
do the same thing.
No.
Same position basically.
No.
Somewhere in the middle field or something.
Okay, you have 2 left. You have 7 and 10. 10 is probably not something I would have ever guessed in a million years. It is from hockey, though.
Oh, the enforcer.
The defender. And I don't know that I would have ever even guessed that was a position. Because I know we have skaters, we have stickers, goalers,
And that's it.
and fighters. Like, aren't those the 4 positions?
Pretty much.
Yeah, not a big hockey guy. There's 1 position left. It's number 7. One position in sports. It's a football position.
Can anybody guess?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Safety.
kicker.
Anything, Mr. Brandon? I think I know it.
Defensive end
All wrong.
or
Oh, all wrong. Even the kicker was
All wrong.
Okay.
Even the kicker, Eddie. Yes, even yours. I know you can't believe it.
That's shocking.
Yeah,
That's
even
tough.
yours is gone.
High pressure position.
Running back. Dang.
The punter.
Now you can all
Oh.
take turns till somebody gets it.
Left tackle?
Correct.
Oh.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Why is that harder than the right tackle?
You got to protect the quarterback's blind side.
If he's a lefty. No, if he's a righty. What if he's a lefty?
If it's Tua, okay, right tackle.
Yeah.
But generally speaking,
There, we got Dylan Gabriel back there.
yeah,
okay.
that's why that position is so important. That's why it gets.
I learned something today.
What did you learn?
That the right tackle is very important.
There was this whole article about what happens to your body if you don't go to sleep, which I find fascinating because I have this unhealthy relationship with sleep. And so here we go. This doctor, Dr. Michael Gardner, has laid out what can happen to your body after a prolonged lack of sleep. 24 hours. I think we've probably all done that
Yeah.
as a kid.
Mhm.
And even occasionally as an adult, either you party or you work. And it's like, well, can't go to sleep. Might as well stay awake. 24 hours, cognitive impairment and reduced reaction time can set in, similar to having a blood alcohol level of 0.01.
Yeah.
So 0.08 is what you get busted for.
That's the legal.
DUI, DWI. But a question for you guys. If you go to Vegas, and let's say you stay out till 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and you have a 6 o'clock flight, do you try to get a couple hours sleep or do you just roll it and stay up, Kevin?
Stay up, especially in Vegas.
Because
Because what's the point? At that point, like you have stuff to do. If you're in like some random city somewhere else and you're like, well, do I just sit here in my hotel room? I have nothing to do. But in Vegas, you can sit at the tables, you can go to a club, you can do all kinds of stuff in Vegas to keep you up.
okay, Eddie, what would you do?
Stay up.
You stay.
I've been burned too many times where I'm just gonna take a 2-hour nap and I miss my flight.
Yep.
Oh, you?
not-
I don't want to jinx myself. I've never missed a flight.
Dude, it's the worst feeling of like just 2 hours. You're never if you are drinking all night and you go to bed at 3, you're not just gonna get 2 hours of sleep. You're gonna get 10
I think it's no surprise then I get the couple hours sleep.
because you weren't drinking.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I got a couple hours. I might as well get a couple, and then I can sleep also on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I would always get that couple hours if I can get it. Brandon, what do you do?
I'd probably stay up, but I haven't been to Vegas in a while, so I'd be in bed by 9.
Not part of the equation.
Yeah.
That's the
What
difference,
happens if
dude.
you go to
Yeah,
bed?
I'd stay up.
Yeah.
I-
Okay,
I did this in Toronto once where I went to bed at 3 a.m, had to get up
okay,
at 5 for a
international
flight.
traveler.
No, I'm just saying.
Let me
no.
flex.
I'm just
Once in
saying.
Belize, you'll never believe what I
No.
did. Go ahead.
And I woke up still like wasted. Felt like I didn't even drink or sleep in a minute. And I threw up 5 times on the plane ride home. That was the worst flight of my life. So that's also why I would stay up.
You threw up 5 times.
5 times.
Is that common if you're throwing up? It's a lot. I thought it was just once if you like throw up because you're.
I mean, if you're that hungover and you're that sick, it was like my 4th day of drinking straight too. So it all
4
factors
days.
in.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
What's Stu? You
Are
ever
you
heard
okay?
No.
you ever heard of hair of the dog?
Yeah.
So, like-
in many ways, yeah.
So hair of the dog drinking is just like, you know what? I feel like terrible, but I'm just gonna keep drinking so I don't have a hangover.
Yeah.
And you keep doing that, like Kevin's saying, 4 days in a row, dude. That you do that, it bites you in the butt.
And then your body just detoxes itself. Like it wants to get everything out of you, so it just throws it all up for you.
Hair of the dog can be used in a bunch of ways, but I feel you.
I've only used it in that.
In
Like,
drinking?
Hey, boys, screw it. Hair of
Yeah,
the
what's
dog.
another way, actually? I don't really.
It's if anything's happening. Let's see. Let me ask my assistant.
Oh yeah. See what she says.
Because I've often said use that, which means just do more of it. If you're hurting from not doing it anymore, just do more of it to kind of raise you back, get you back in.
Okay. You can do that working out then, I guess. Right? That would
So
sound
for
weird.
well, I know for soreness, it's like I'm super sore. Let me get a little hair of the dog, get back in it, do some squats, kind of get into it a little bit. That's a good example. I couldn't really think of one after I said I've used it before. I'll be honest with you. I really screw it. I'm gonna do this sex story anyway. 36 to 48 hours of no sleep. Anyone ever been that long without sleep?
36.
Have you ever done 2 full days?
No.
No, man.
I don't think I have either.
No.
Never 2 full days. Physical and cognitive performance continues to slump. You might even experience micro sleeps, which means you don't mean to fall asleep and you're not physically falling asleep, except there are these brief periods where you don't even realize you're asleep. I think Casey
Weird.
has that right now.
Are you okay, man?
That's what I saw too.
What?
Whoa.
72 hours. Hallucinations can escalate to extreme paranoia, and long-term complications could be on the horizon.
Whoa.
On the horizon.
Hallucinations.
3 days of
Wow.
not sleeping. You're it would be fun to hallucinate if you could somehow snap out of them. Meaning, okay, I will do this to myself. I'll hallucinate LSD, like something like a drug like that. Which I don't know. Did you ever do that while you're in Toronto?
Kevin?
Not in Toronto.
Okay. Where it's like, that would be interesting and fun to try if for some reason you could just like shock yourself and get out of it immediately once it started to not feel safe. But it feels like when you hallucinate, you really have no control when you're going to get back.
No way.
Yeah.
Isn't that like when sailors say they saw mermaids?
That's just because they've been out. Yeah, sure.
They were up, lost at sea, freaking out.
Or in the desert.
Yeah.
Like
there were no
mirage.
Mermaids.
No.
In the desert.
96 hours or more, your memory could start resembling that of someone who has Alzheimer's, and your perception of reality could be distorted into something resembling psychosis. And then I think you just die.
If you were lost in the desert, do you think you would sleep ever? Not lost. You may not ever get found. You think you're gonna die. Would you sleep?
Probably. Because I think, are you asking, would my body allow me to, or would I want to?
No, would you want to?
Yes, because I would need to recharge in order to keep going. You have a limited time of being able to go until your body needs sleep. And sure, I may never, but I'm going to need that recharge in order to keep trying.
Yeah. I feel like it's the best part. Like, I'm just going to sleep, man. They're not going to find me anyway.
It's the best part.
I'm just going to fall asleep.
Is there any other good
my
parts?
favorite part about being lost in the desert is
I love sleep so much that it'd be like, I'm just going to sleep. Like, they're not going to find me anyway. And if I die, I die.
I don't think that would be the case. I think it'd be hard to sleep if you think you might die. Also in the desert, what may come and get you, there's not a lot of like organic matter out there.
No.
You know, werewolves. Those are real?
Sidewinder snakes.
Well, and also if I'm having hallucinations, yeah, there are werewolves.
Are you having them
out
now?
in the desert.
I think I'm hallucinating now, as a matter of fact. Yes. Mike, what was the story about the guy who live streamed and he died? You ever see that?
Yeah.
It was like, I can ask my assistant, but he like live streamed so long to stay awake and he ended up dying.
On the live stream?
I'm pretty sure, unless that's urban legend.
Oof.
Sometimes I've been caught up by urban legend.
Sure. People talk.
I think if the urban legend was correct, his heart like gave out.
What's the story of the person who stayed up a long time, as in didn't sleep, and he was on a live stream and died?
Yeah, so that story is actually kind of a cautionary tale that's been carried around a lot. The person you might be thinking of is tied to a sort of internet legend. There have been a few different stories, but probably the most known one is about a guy who tried to break a record for staying awake and was live streaming it. And then he ended up passing away from what was essentially sleep deprivation and strain it put on his heart and body. It's a bit of an urban myth in some ways because there are a few versions of the story floating around, but the core idea is going without sleep for extreme lengths of time is really dangerous. And it's one of those stories that kind of circulates as a warning. So it's definitely a bit of a dark tale.
What do you think, or what has been the urban legend on the amount of hours he stayed awake?
Yeah, so the legend usually goes that he stayed awake for something like 11 days straight. Oh. So around 260 to 270 hours, which is kind of the classic number that floats around. It's actually a number that's kind of based on a real record attempt by someone named Randy Gardner back in the 1960s, who actually did stay awake for 11 days as part of a science experiment. But in the urban legend version, it's more dramatic and it ends tragically because he was live streaming and never slept and then passed away. But yeah, the number that usually gets thrown around is about 11 days.
What you do is you have a twin.
Nice.
Switch them out.
Mm-hmm. You switch them out.
How on the live stream? Like, I'm going to go to the restroom real quick.
You fall down. And then all of a sudden they come out of the floor.
Hey,
Sorry, I slipped.
I got twins.
Yeah, we do it with his
Yeah,
kids.
but one's a boy and one's a girl.
They'll never know.
Dress them the same. We'll keep those babies up for days.
Yes.
24 hours sleep, 24 hours sleep. That's what you
Perfect.
do. That's what you do.
That's going to do it for this week. Eddie, get better, Eddie. He should be better by later on this week. Although we have to go, Eddie and I are supposed to go down to Savannah, Georgia on Thursday when we tape this. He's supposed to shoot a bunch of content because that is where the Hyundai plant is when they make the cars. So we're going to go down and shoot some content for Hyundai. But if he's sick, because Amy's been sick for 2 weeks, and she's finally back tomorrow, Tuesday in the show. Brandon, we have to call you in from the dugout to come shoot content down in Georgia. Yeah, get better, Eddie. Although Eddie won't listen to this. But get better, Eddie. That's it. Thank you guys. Thanks to Brandon Marcello. We will see you guys later on this week. Goodbye, everybody. Hit that. You can only. There it is. Yeah. All right.